Where are we now?
We have arrived in Copenhagen on a rainy day.
A couple of days before the start of our package Scandinavia the Baltics tour, we've checked in our luggage to the hotel we'll be staying in. We cannot check in ourselves yet because we were a little bit too early for the 3 p.m. check-in time. In the meantime, we'll be taking a look at restaurants and stores near the hotel where we can buy food and water. We go back about 100 meters from the hotel to the train station where we came from. From the airport, we took a train to the Copenhagen Central train station and have walked under the rain to Hotel Andersen. As we'll find out in the next few days, Andersen is a very common name in this country because the author Hans Christian Andersen was Danish. On the other side of the train station is the amusement park and pleasure garden, which is Tivoli Gardens. Our decision to walk a few blocks more brought us to a small but outstanding museum, which is the New Carlsberg Glyptotek. NY means new in English and Glyptotek means a collection of sculptures. This is a collection of the son of the founder of Carlsberg, Carl Jacobsen. In 1888, Carl Jacobsen donated his collection to the Danish state and the city of Copenhagen on condition that they provided a suitable building for its exhibition. The new Carlsberg Glyptotek is in general noted for its good acoustics, both in the auditorium and in the surrounding long halls. What the sculptures and the interior of the museum reminds me of is an outstanding life-size Wedgwood pottery. This bronze sculpture by Auguste Rodin is often used as an image to represent philosophy. The art collection of Carl Jacobsen, which was donated to Copenhagen, which eventually became one of the major museums of the country, is similar to the collection of one person by the name of Baron Thyssen-Bornemisza, which was sold but also became a major museum in Spain. Because the sculpture was one of the most important means of expression and communication, every single statue, head, and relief was produced with an eye to its specific purpose and message. In most cases, the sculpture was set up in a public space like the city's market, burial ground, theater, and sanctuary. This is one of the best medium-sized museums we've been to, which include the museum in Vienna, Austria, where the technique they used in presenting sculptures was as inspiring as the sculptures themselves.
Just a minute, I'll slip something on.
We are in Copenhagen since this is the start of our Scandinavia and the Baltics tour, which will take us to 8 countries around the Baltic Sea. As we have done in the past, we are a few days ahead of the start of our tour to be able to maximize the enjoyment of our stay in the first city. The Queen of Denmark is Margrethe II, the eldest child of Frederick IX of Denmark and Ingrid of Sweden, who was also the former Queen of Denmark. This is outside the museum on the way back to the hotel to check in. If you're deciding to spend a few nights ahead of your scheduled tour, try to book in a hotel in or close to the center of the city. Make sure it has a good travel advisory ranking and record. Normally, it would have been easy to check in earlier, but the city just finished Fashion Week. The order of the day now is looking for the Catholic Church to attend Mass on Sunday. Copenhagen on a regular working day is really admirable for the number of bikers there were on the way to their offices.
That's right, honey.
Also, one of the first to-dos is ride the local hop-on, hop-off bus. Find out what their location and schedule is so you can start first thing in the morning. This is always the best and cheapest way to get to know a city. You'll find out where the shops, restaurants, and landmarks are in a few hours. We make it a point to go around at least once before making a decision on where to get off. Depending on what there is in the city, a 2-day pass can sometimes be more practical. For short trips though, try to learn the public system. We've taken the public bus for now and the hop-on, hop-off tomorrow. Founded in 1859, this is one of the oldest zoos in Europe. The ticket cost is 180 Danish krone, which is about $30 US.
I just wish that I could let things happen and enjoy it for what it is.
Denmark has been a member of the European Union since 1975, but uses the Danish krone as its currency. A set of Danish krone banknotes consist of 4 denominations: 50, 100, 200, and 500. The Copenhagen Zoo have had controversies before, such as in 1901, wherein the zoo had a human display with 25 Indians, men, women, and children, in an exhibition where the brown exotic people went about their daily lives in palm tree leaf huts constructed in the middle of the zoo. In 2014, a healthy young male giraffe, Marius, was killed on the recommendation of the European Association of Zoos and Aquaria. His meat was fed to the zoo's lions, while other parts were transferred to a scientific institution. The scientific director at Copenhagen Zoo defended the culling, saying that the giraffes at the zoo bred very well, and where this was the case, giraffes had to be killed to ensure the best genes were passed down to ensure the animal's long-term survival. Members of the public started an international online petition directed at the Copenhagen Zoo to save Marius. After the killing, a petition was directed at Denmark's Prime Minister for the closure of the zoo, which received over 98,000 signatures.
Og det er altså også som sagt, hun er også en hundsøløve, ligesom de andre hundsøløver herinde. Og sådan en hundsøløve, jamen den kan komme op og veje de her lidt over 100 kilo, når hun er på sådan det største.
Danish is a Germanic language of the North Germanic branch. Other names for this group are the Nordic or Scandinavian languages. Along with Swedish, Danish descends from the eastern dialects of the Old Norse language. Danish and Swedish are also classified as East Scandinavian or East Nordic languages. Danish is largely mutually intelligible with Norwegians and Swedish. Proficient speakers of any of the three languages can often understand the others fairly well. The Copenhagen Zoo was moderately interesting due to the kinds of animals in it. The 11 hectares it covers is not the biggest area to hold more than 3,000 animals. Some of the species would not be able to thrive in a tropical country like the Philippines. Renovations also aimed at replacing cages with enclosures which recreate animals' natural environments, gave a better lifestyle to the animals. There is one animal we really went here for, which is not only rare in Asia but in other European countries as well. Its native range lies largely within the Arctic Circle, encompassing the Arctic Ocean, its surrounding seas, and surrounding land masses. A boar, or an adult male, weighs about 350 to 700 kilograms, while a sow, or an adult female, is about half that size. The polar bear is the sister species of the brown bear. Because of expected habitat loss caused by climate change, the polar bear is classified as a vulnerable species. Zoos and aquariums in different countries are also nice to make a part of a travel. A small country like Singapore, for instance, has an outstanding aquarium and botanic garden. Denmark was the first country to legalize pornography. In 2012, Denmark introduced gender-neutral marriage. Modesty and social equality are important parts of Danish culture. The National Museum of Denmark in Copenhagen is Denmark's largest museum of cultural history, comprising the histories of Danish and foreign cultures. It contains exhibits from around the world, from Greenland to South America. Denmark, Norway, and Sweden are the political entities of Scandinavia. These countries in Northern Europe are characterized by common and ethno-cultural North Germanic heritage and mutually intelligible North Germanic languages. Between 960 and 980, Harold Bluetooth established a kingdom in the land of the Danes. Vikings were Norse seafarers, mainly speaking the Old Norse language, who raided and traded from their northern European homelands across wide areas of Europe during the 8th to 11th centuries. Denmark is one of the oldest states in Europe and the oldest kingdom in the world. The current monarch, Queen Margrethe II, who became regent in 1972, can point to the oldest lineage in Europe, dating back to early 900 AD, and Viking King Gorm or Bluetooth. The word Denmark has origins dating back to the Viking Age and was carved on the famous Jelling Stone from around 900 AD. After suffering from the effects of plague and fire in the 18th century, the city underwent a period of redevelopment. Copenhagen is now the major economic and financial center of Denmark. Although it is one of the most expensive cities, it is also one of the most livable with its public transport, facilities for cyclists, and its environmental policies. We'll be finding out more about these countries and why they're both loved but has to struggle with by Filipinos working there we've talked to during our tour. At 60%, Denmark has one of the highest personal income tax rate. The building of the National Museum of Denmark used to be the official residence of the Crown Prince of Denmark, Frederik VI. The weather in Copenhagen is a comfortable 1 degree centigrade at the start of the year to 18 degrees at the middle of the year. Daylight makes a lot of difference, from 7 hours in the winter to 17 hours in the summer. The flag of Denmark is red with a white Scandinavian cross that extends to the edges of the flag. The white on red cross emblem originates in the age of the Crusades. In the 12th century, it was also used as war flag by the Holy Roman Empire. The flag holds the world record of being the oldest continuously used national flag. The Danish cuisine, or the cuisine in the whole of Scandinavia and the Baltics for that matter, will not be disappointing for us. It will generally be delightful and will be part of the pleasure taking this trip. Some gastronomic experience should be strategically included in every country you travel to. Strategically, because time should be taken into account. There's a time for enjoying a meal and a time to just replenish the energy. Our tour director and companions will also make this trip one of the best for us. The month-long tour duration never seemed so short and rejuvenating with its pleasant daily pacing. So from the National Museum of Denmark, goodbye for the moment, and we'll see you in the next DVD.